Our review for Chapter 7 test, we're going to start here by cross multiplying. What is 5 times 9? 45. 15 times x? 15x. We're going to divide by? 15. How many times does 15 go into 45? 3. So x equals 3. Our second one up is the same idea. We're going to do 6 times 12. What's 6 times 12? 72. And then 7 times x is going to give me a 7x. We're going to divide by 7. X equals 10.2. 10.3. Which one was it, you guys? Okay.
10.3. It was
Okay.
2.8.
It's close. Okay. We're in the ballpark. And then our next one up, 5 times x, 5x. 7 times 12. 84. We're going to divide by 5. X equals 16.8. Okay, over here, 3 times 12. Yes, let's actually take a second. We're going to resume. 3 times 12 is 36. 5 times x is 5x. Divide by x equals 7.2. Okay, 12 times. Okay, so we have 7 times 12, which is what? 84 times, yep, equals 5x. We're going to divide by 5. X equals 16.8.
I don't like these decimals.
Yeah, all of these are decimals today, basically. 5 times 1 is 5. And then we end up with 3x. Next step. Nice job. X equals. Can you say it one more time? 1.6. So to set up these, it tells you how they want you to write them. Boys to girls, whatever it says first has to go in the numerator. So I always like to write mine out with a fraction, b over g equals. And then we're going to write out what we have. 5 to 3, so 5 over 3. And then it tells you that there are 27 girls. How many boys? Well, if we don't know how many, what do we use to represent it? X. So you want to make sure that they line up with what you have. The 27 went with girls, so it had to go in the denominator because that's all my girl stuff. The X went with boys. It went with all my boy stuff in the numerator. So now what we want to do is use our second 2 and then cross multiply. So 5 times 27 is? 135 equals 3x. We got to divide by x equals 45. So we have 45, and then I want you to tell me what it is, boys. So when you write this out, just tell me what your category is. Our next one is lions to zebras, so that means lions are in the numerator. Zebras are in the denominator. I'm going to line it up with this again. It says 2 to 7, so 2 lions to 7 zebras, every 2 lions to every 7 zebras. And then we know that there are 22 lions. Well, since it's lions, it goes in the numerator, 22. How many zebras are we taking? Yep, we don't know, so we're going to put x. 2 times x is 2x. 7 times 22. 154? Okay. We're going to divide by 2. We get 77, and then it's zebras, right? Zebras. Okay, the next one's about desks and chairs. So chairs to desks, so C over D, equals 1-to-1 ratio. For every 1 desk, there's 1 chair. If we know we have 28 chairs, how many desks do we have to have? You have to have 28. So 28 desks. You could show the cross multiplication, but you don't have to. The ratio of the average teacher's salary to administrator's salary is 5 to 8. So I put teacher over admin, A, is 5 to 8. If a teacher is making $66,009, how much does the administrator make? So again, I made sure to line up all the stuff about teachers are in the numerator. All the stuff about administrators are in the denominator. These are a little bit larger. We're going to cross multiply. 5x equals 6609, $66,009 times 8, which is 528 You can just read each digit if you want. Say it one more time. 0.72. Like that? Okay, thank you, ma'am. We're going to divide by 5.
Whoa.
How much are they making?
I'm going to guess 1,404.
You're close, but no. 5.
Oh.
614 point.
4.
Yeah, so $105,614.40. So that's for admin salary on this page. So the ratio of boys to girls in the room is going to be 5 to 3. If there are 32 people, the key word here is all together. How many boys? So we know the boys part was that 5. How do we represent our ratio if we're talking about all together? So this one was boys to girls. Now we want it boys to total. I'm gonna rewrite that real quick. Give me 1 second. Boys to total. Okay.
Is it 5?
She said she will rewrite it.
Oh, I'm good now. You can go.
5 to 32.
You're close. So if we're just going to compare the ratio for total, we know our ratio has 5 parts to 3 parts. How many total parts do we have?
32. 8.
We have 8. So 32 you're going to use in your next part. And so 32 talks about your total, so you did have that here. So at least you tried. And then we want to know how many boys. So X. So anytime it says all together, you're going to add the parts of your ratio first. So this is where it got a little tricky. And then we're going to cross multiply. 5 times 32.
100 and,
Oh, I thought you were actually doing the math right now.
I was doing that.
75.
60. I know it's okay.
What?
8x. We're going to divide by 8. X equals 20 boys.
If we did it a different way, can we got the same answer?
Number 12, the ratio of teachers to students is going to be 2 to 47 at West. We want to talk about a total of 2,303 teachers and students. So again, they're talking about a total. Teachers and students. How did we represent that before when we did that? What did you have to do to find total? So our total here would be our 2 parts added together again. So 2 over 47. So 2 plus 47 is 49. So that goes in our denominator. And then we're comparing it to teachers. And what was our ratio portion for teachers? So teachers was the 2, right? So that's the part we're looking at there. It's a 49. So we just created our new ratio, teachers over total. We knew the teacher part was 2. The total was considering both parts, the teachers and students. And then after that, we want to find out how many teachers there are going to be if we have a total of 2,303 teachers and students. So we're cross multiplying. 2 times that is going to give us 4606 equals 49x. We got to get x by itself. I'm going to divide by.
Miss Jenkins, you move fast.
I'm sorry.
He just went there.
I was.
So if we're dividing by that 49, what do you get?
Ooh. It's going to be in thousands.
94.
94. And then we know it's teachers. The next one might not be worded the best. There are 5 people to every 3 cars. So I'm going to start by writing that ratio out. People to cars.
Like in the car or outside?
Like on the, like walking on the street, cars driving on the street. How many staff we have here? We have a lot. I don't know how many. We have more than that. So people to cars, we know that ratio would be 5 to 3. If there, are 64 people and cars, how many people live on the street? So it wants to know how many people are like actually on the street, not like homeless people we're counting on the street, okay? Yeah, I know, it was not worded well. I tried to preface the question with that. So we're once again interested in people. So we want people over total. What's our total going to be in the ratio? So it's going to be 8 because it's 5 plus 3, which will give us the 8. And the people portion was the 5. And then we know the total is going to be that 64. And we want to find out how many people are going to be living on that street. It's going to be X. Once again, we're cross multiplying here. 8 times X is 8X. 5 times 64.
320.
Yeah, give me 1 second. 5 times 64, you said 320? Okay, thank you, sir. We're going to divide by 8. X equals?
40.
So 40 people. So tomorrow when you guys, Monday, when we take this quiz, the question is set up here, and it tells you what you're going to be using it. And then these are the actual questions. There's no official question happening here. This is the question below it. It just gave you the diagram. So we want to know what is the scale factor of the two shapes, left to right. So when it says this, the left shape goes on top, the right shape goes in the bottom, so numerator and then the denominator. So I set up all of my fractions at once. I did 9 over y equals x over 5, which equals 6 over 4, which equals z over 3. So all I did was now put the same sides and compare them and writing them out. Okay, so with that, only one of those gives us complete information. Is it the first, second, third, or fourth fraction gives us the complete information? The third fraction, right? So that tells us our scale factor is going to be that 6 over 4, but we can reduce that. When we reduce it, what does it reduce to? 3 over 2. So our scale factor is 3 over 2. In the next portion, you see you have 3 questions being asked. We want to find x, we want to find y, we want to find z. I set up all 3 of these at the same time when I do them. So I like to have my scale factor because that's what you have to compare it to. So I have 3 over 2 equals the fraction that has the x in it. So that's the x over 5. And I'm going to come back and solve that in a minute. My next one is looking for the y. I like to set that up, 3 over 2. And then I look for the fraction as the y, 9 over y. And then my third one is 3 over 2 equals z over 3. So now that we have the z and that one, the y, we have them all set up. We're just now back to that same cross multiplication, just like all the problems we've done before. So 3 times 5, when we cross multiply, is 15, equals 2x. We're going to divide by 2. X equals 7 point. I think it goes in a little nicer. I could be wrong. Yeah, I think it's going to be 7.5. Over here, we have 3 times y. It's going to be 3y equals 2 times 9 is what? 18. We're going to divide by 3. Y equals 6. And then we have 3 times 3, which is 9, equals 2z. We're going to divide by 2. Z equals 4.5. So we're here, and we want to create our scale factor, figure out our scale factor. Once again, it says left to right. So I'm going to start with the side that has 5. The side that corresponds to the 5 on the other triangle is what? X. And then we go to 7, and the side that corresponds to that is?
3.
Yep, and then we have y, and the side that corresponds to that is?
6.
Nice job. So now we want to talk about which one's our scale factor. So the scale factor is the one that has all the information. What's my scale factor here? Yep. So scale factor, 7 over 3. And then I'm going to create my 2 ratios again. I know the scale factor is 703. This one's asking for x, so I'm going to put it with the one that has an x in it, 5 over x. The other one is 7 over 3. And it has y, so I'm putting it with the one that has the y. So all I did was group the ones that had the same letters together. That's what we're looking for, I should say. And then now we can solve the same way we did before. Cross multiply. So 7 times x is 7x. What is 3 times 5?
15.
What is 15 divided by 7?
1.8.
2.1, like 2.1, 2.3, something like that.
2.1? Okay. I do appreciate you guys doing some mental math despite the fact that you have a calculator on your desk.
I ain't used it
But
though.
okay, so our next one up is 3y equals 7 times 6. 42, right?
42.
Divided by 3, y equals 14. Okay, we're back at another same idea of this. We want to create those fractions to identify our scale factor. I'm going to start with 8. 8 corresponds to the side that has the 3. Then we're going to go 5. What side corresponds to that? Yep. 6 over z. A over.
Wait, that's a 5.
Yeah, that one's hard to read. It is a 5, but it is hard to read. And then last but not least, y over. So which one's my scale factor here? 8 over 3. So scale factor 8 over 3. Once again, I like to set up all of these equations first. So I do 8 over 3, and this one's finding x, so that's going to be the 5 over x. My next one up is going to be y, so that's 8 over 3 equals y times 4, or y over 4. And then we have 8 over 3 equals y, 6 over z. Double check to make sure I write these out okay. And then my last one's 8 over 3 equals a over 5. Now we have them all set up. It's just like all the other problems we've done. We're just cross multiplying. Yes, sir. Yes. So we're going to start by cross multiplying. 8 times x is 8x. 3 times 5 is 15. We're going to divide by 8. Can you say it again? 1.8. Okay. Our next one up, cross multiplying again. 8 times 4, 32, equals 3y. Divide by 3. Y equals 10.6. Next one up, 8z I got. 3 times 6, 18. Divide by z equals. Not exactly though, right?
No.
10.25, so we can go 10.3 or 2.5. You can leave it either way.
2.25.
Oh, and say it again.
2.2.
Oh.
That's exactly 2.25.
All right. I don't know where I got 10 from. I apologize. Okay, 8 times 5 is 40. 3a divided by 3. 13.3. So before we've done this week, we've learned that you can prove triangles are similar by a few different methods. The first one was all the sides all the sides are proportional, all the angles are congruent. The second method was AA, 2 angles are congruent. The third was side, side, side. The fourth was side, angle, side. So we're going to start here. Do we have any pairs of congruent angles right now? Yes, which A and B. So A is congruent to angle B. So we're partially there. Do we know anything about another angle? We know the 85 and the 46, but they aren't congruent. So we have to do the math to find one of the other 2 angles. I picked this one, 180 minus 50 minus 85. I'm going to need somebody to do the math for me there.
That's 135. 135. Yeah.
Is it 45? Okay, does 45 match 46? No. So what do we know about these 2 triangles? Not similar. Do we have a pair of congruent angles?
Yep.
Which ones are they? Yep, so the 38, so that's H is congruent to angle I. Do we know anything else about any other angles? Angle J. So when you lay this out, you want to make sure you have GJH is congruent to KJI. We knew that because of what? Vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. Vertical angles.
Say that?
It doesn't hurt to write vert. Okay, and so by AA, we know our triangles are congruent. Make sure the angles that are congruent to each other line up. So HJG is similar to angle IJK. Your second one up. Do we know anything about the angles that are congruent here?
They got N and O.
So N is congruent to angle O. They're both right angles. And then Q and L. Yep. So Q is congruent to, I flipped that. Sorry, let me do it this way. L is congruent to Q. Okay, so by AA, we know our triangle. Again, make sure they line up. NLP. Nope, NLQ. What am I doing? Nope. I flipped them again. I like to read down, but they grouped them wrong. So triangle NQM is similar to triangle OLP. Bless you, by AA. So here you see you have one congruent angle. We know that we don't have any letters on them, so if you wanted to letter them, that's okay. So with my new letters, what do we know? Angle what's congruent to angle what?
Angle B, E.
So we know angle A is congruent to D because they're the only ones we have the information for. But we can find the other one. We'll figure out what angle E's measure is. It's 180 minus 90 minus 75, which gives you how much? I heard somebody say 15. Does 15 match 20? No, so they're what? Not similar. Okay, we're on to our next one. I'm going to pause the page so I can restart the next one. Last two questions are both side splitters. So remember, it's the original small triangle, A, over the continuation to make it the big triangle, 7. So A over 7 equals 3 over 11. Cross multiplying A times 11. It's going to be 11A. 3 times 7 is 21. Divide by 11. A equals 1.9. Okay. And then we're going to go on to the second one. We had one like this yesterday. We know the bottom part, but what's the top part? How do we figure that part out? Give it
13 minus W.
13 minus W. So you take the total minus the part you know, so 13 minus W, and we can now write that out again. So the smaller triangle's top over its extension equals the smaller triangle's top over its extension. We're going to cross multiply again. Don't forget your parentheses. 6 parenthesis 13 minus W equals 5 times W. We got to distribute. What's 6 times 13? 78, you guys said? Minus 6W equals 5W. Add 6W. 78 equals, ooh, that's not a 78. 78 equals 11W. We got to do what? 5 by 11. W equals 7.1.
What are we doing?